I'm so excited this afternoon to be hosting two amazing ladies in this session. We have Nneka Jenkins with Real Estate Experts in Silicon Valley. Hi, Nneka.
Hi.
And we have the amazing Jenny Locke with the OWN Real Estate team here in the Peninsula as well. Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Excited to be here today.
Thank you both for making time to share your insights. Both of you have built incredibly strong brands for yourself. It's been so impressive to follow your success. Both of you, I was just looking at numbers and from our last discussions, have just been crushing it. And I'm just so excited that you'll be sharing some of your journey and your thoughts with us today. So before we get started, I just want to quickly introduce the both of you. And I know both of you just at a high level will do an introduction, but I just want to say congratulations on the amazing 2020 so far. I know, Jenny, you closed 10 transactions last month in June, and Nneka, you already closed 40 million in home sales volume this year in 2020. So congratulations so far in an amazing first half, and we're really excited to host you today for this 30-minute session. So please, I would love for you to introduce yourself. Nneka, go ahead and go first.
Hi, thank you for having me, Alice. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Nneka Jenkins, and I'm part of the Real Estate Experts, and I have just started building my team this year for 2020. And I love everything about real estate. I came to real estate from corporate America, and I really don't know how I didn't discover it sooner. It's very exciting, and I love helping families achieve their real estate goals and build equity through real estate. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Nneka. And Jenny.
Hey everyone, I'm Jenny Locke, and I started the business in my early 20s. I actually bought my first house at the age of 23 years old, and that's how I met my broker, Wilson, owner of OWN Real Estate. And at the age of 24, I joined his team, and at the age of 26, 27, was able to get the 30 Under 30 Realtor Award. And it's been an exciting journey. And how I educate my clients is not only how to buy and sell real estate, but how to invest in real estate. So my boyfriend and I actually own 23 units currently across the country.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that quick intro. And I just want to add a couple of things. I know, Nneka, you've just been just doing so well. And if you don't mind just sharing your 2019 volume and units as well as your 2020 year to date, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2019, I was able to help 48 families achieve their goals through real estate and start to build equity. And that was about 46 million in sales and volume. And for 2020, as of June, I was about 40 million in sales. And so far, I've helped 42 families achieve their goals across buyers and sellers. As Jenny mentioned, my husband and I also kind of dabble in some investment properties and all of that, more in California. And I think it's really important, whether it's a home for your family, that to always consider real estate as an investment, part of your investment portfolio. And we're very passionate about it. We do a lot of remodels on our own and for our clients to prep their homes for market. So we really do have a strong passion in increasing people's wealth through real estate and doing a lot of remodels for ourselves and for our clients. So it's really been a dream of mine to continue to help families achieve their goals.
I love it. Thank you. And Jenny, I know you also are a big educator when it comes to building wealth and just being in those shoes yourself. Do you mind sharing just your production volume last year and also this year?
Yes, of course. So last year I helped about 36 families, around 40 million, and that was year to date for 2019. And this year, thought that the whole coronavirus and everything would slow me down, but it didn't. And so far I've helped 33 families at 40 million as of the end of July, and have about 7 more pending and a few more listings. So excited to be able to help one family a week. The goal is 52 this year.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction. And so let's just jump right in. I know we have a few questions. The audience is really curious to hear about kind of your team structure and your brand and your teams today. So Nneka, can you just tell me, when did you really learn that you were ready? Like when did you feel like you were ready to move from an individual producer to becoming a team leader and leading a group?
That's a great question. the quick answer is I don't think I ever knew I was ready. I have a strong village around me. Most importantly, my husband and my mother and my sister and my brother, and they've always been my biggest supporters, and they've always seen my potential before I have. And I think that still reigns true. I'm trying to let go of those limiting beliefs as I move forward in my career. But I think it's been interesting because I came here from corporate America. And I loved it. I had a great family in the company that I worked for in medical devices, and I really didn't realize that this was where I belonged. And it's still kind of a struggle for me. So I think my husband and I would dabble in real estate personally, and then sooner or later we realized we could make our passion into an income source. So that's really how we accidentally fell into it. And then as I grew the business with my husband's support, he then became licensed, and we created more of a corporation around what we do on the real estate front. And it's really been eye-opening for me because it's caused me to now see my value, see my potential before it actually comes to fruition. And I think having a really strong support system in my husband and in my partner, Brett Jennings, and previous mentors even before that, has been really important to me and valuable to push me to the next limit and never settle for mediocrity or whatever I might see as mediocrity for my life. So I've pushed well beyond what I ever expected because I was very comfortable in corporate America, and this is definitely a very different environment. So I really do enjoy it, but that's really how I became to realize this is where I belonged. And then as that happened this year, I started growing my own team. So we have 3 buyer's agents now, and we have had a personal and professional assistant for about 4 years now. So that's always been consistent, but now we're growing it. And it's really exciting to see people kind of jump on board with your vision and your plan for the future in real estate.
Amazing. It sounds like it was a natural progression, and you had just a strong support system around you that kind of saw that this was something that needed to happen and kind of supported you and pushed you in that direction. So thank you for that. And it sounds like the team is growing. So Jenny, tell us about your journey.
Yeah, similar to Becca Jenkins. I started in corporate America and worked at Oracle. And when I was purchasing my first house, and I realized this is not something that I want to stay in corporate America for. I want to be able to educate other people how to build wealth through real estate and be able to buy a house at the age of 23, rent out rooms, and not have to pay for rent. So that was first start of my journey. And then getting into building the team within a team that I'm on was my first and second year. I was grinding so hard. I would be working 24/7, dreaming, negotiating in my dreams. I still do that, but I realized when I went on a trip, a camping trip, and there was no cell phone service, and I would just freak out because I'm like, how am I going to respond to my clients? How am I going to be able to handle their questions and everything on the weekend and even in the evening time? So once I got back from that shift, I had a big realization that I can't do this myself. And although I'm a part of a team, I need to gather more support within my team here, and started looking at building off showing assistants and ISAs and other people on the team. So I do have a virtual ISA in the Philippines that's helping follow up with all my past clients and people in the database, and have 2 showing assistant buyer agent partners that would be able to help service and show clients around. Because now we're going all over the Bay Area, not just in our designated peninsula that we were originally, because everyone realized they can have more space and don't have to work close to work as much anymore. And then now looking to really hire my full-time assistant to continue the marketing efforts that I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's, and I think a couple of key things I wanted to note there is you kind of reach a capacity where you're noticing that I have to scale, and I have to be able to delegate and find like-minded team members to help grow the business and support your clients and provide that same level of service, right? Because you don't want that capacity to affect your level of service with your clients. And it also allows you to focus, right, and really where it matters. And I think that's really important. So thank you for that. So tell us a little bit about the steps involved. In our previous conversations, I know there was so many good things that you guys shared here, from how you actually source, candidates to the actual process. So if you want to just share with us the steps that you took to actually form this team? Nneka, go ahead and start first.
Oh, that's an evolution that's continuing on every single day, right? What was important for me is to understand what my husband and I wanted out of our daily lifestyle, personally and professionally. So I think once my husband and I had a roadmap, and he quit corporate America just about a year ago, once we figured out our roadmap for our family, then we translated that into, okay, how are we going to grow our team? And so for us, it was really important that we brought people on that shared the same values as we did. Partnered with Brett for so long now, I think I've learned so much from him, and I've just been a sponge to the history he's had in real estate and the way he's grown teams and the evolution of it all, really. And I think it's important to do a DISC assessment. I think it's important to do personality assessments. I think it's important to do a series of interviews to where you see, are you really comfortable with this person? Is this the kind of person where your best friend wants to buy a house and you would send them out to take care of them and not have to worry? That's been important for my husband and I, as far as who we bring onto our team. Who would we trust our parents with for their home purchase? Because as Jenny said, and you said as well, compromising customer service and client care to our families that we want to help build their goals within real estate is not negotiable. So for me, the experience was super important. So I need someone who matches the personality, matches the grind, matches the motivation. My husband and I are very ambitious, and so we need people that are as aggressive as that. So that process has been pretty intense for us to make sure we bring the right people on. I always have my partner, Brett, and our sales manager, Lauren, interview them. I always have my husband interview them. I put them in front of as many people as possible just to make sure it's the right fit. And then one thing that's important to me is understanding what their goals are, and then slowly starting to understand what they're actually good at, because sometimes they don't align, and being able to manage to those expectations and pull the greatness out of people, I think is extremely important. And through my mentorship with Brett, getting into this business, I think that's what he's been able to do, is pull the good things out of me, and then let's leverage the parts that maybe I need to hire someone for. So that's been our process.
I love it. And and I think one note that you mentioned that's really important is understanding the type of person they are, and really getting a good idea of who do they want to be, and if that is really aligned with what you're looking for, right? Because that's really important. And I think a few other things that you mentioned is just providing expectations and setting the right expectations, and then managing against that, right? And just, I love the word that you use, grind, because that is so important. And so it's hard to teach that sometimes in this business. You either have it or you don't. So I think interviewing for that and really looking for that is so important. So thank you for sharing that, Nneka. Jenny, what about you? I know you also go through a very thorough interview process, but tell us about your steps.
Yeah, similar to Nneka, a lot of it is looking at their personality assessment. But one additional thing that we do is that I ask them, hey, set out your 10-year goals, and then your 5-year goals, and your 3-year goals, and 2-year goals, 1 year, and then weekly goals, and then monthly, weekly goals, and then daily goals and hourly goals. And what do you want to accomplish from a physical perspective, a business perspective, career perspective, relationship perspective, and spiritual perspective? So once they have that, and I let them be creative on how they want to do it. And I actually had a mentor who told me to do that. And at the age of, I think when I was 23, and then a few months later, I bought my first house, and I did not imagine that. But you can accomplish so many things if you just write it down and speak it to existence, such as buying my dream home here that was a listing by partner Ron Davis over at Voyage. So it's amazing to be a part of all these transactions for myself, but I want to be able to help people, guide them to get to their goals as well too, and seeing if that aligns with our mutual goals. Other things is I sometimes don't respond to people's requests just to see how their follow-up game is, because follow-up is so key in this business, and I purposely don't follow up with them just to see if they follow up with me, and and then based on that follow-up, that's part of the test of the interview process. And I also would really dive into their references, calling at least three 3 or so personal and professional references, so 6 references, and digging in a layer deep to see, okay, who else has worked with this person, and can you give me their phone and number? And going into the 3 layers deep is important, because every reference is going to say great things, but once you get a little deeper, you'll really find the nitty gritty.
I love it. And I love that the interview process starts before you even speak, right? It's, are you, how interested are you in actually speaking with me? And how interested are you in this opportunity, right? Before you even get back to them, you want to see if they'll follow up with you after that first initial contact. I love that. And I really like kind of the goal setting approach and reverse engineering that with a plan. And I think, you know, in this business, there's going to be good days and bad days. So I think it's really important to stay focused. And as you know, it sounds like you really are focused on just goal setting, whether if it's business, life, you know, spiritual, fitness, like all of those things are tied into how you operate. And I think all of that is important to discuss and get to know about your team members. So thank you for that. And actually the references piece was very interesting. I think that I love that both of you really treat this as a business, right? And you're looking for other professionals who also treat this as a business, right? A lot of people think that you get into real estate and it's easy, but actually you have to really have discipline and you have to be really focused for you to be very successful. So thank you for sharing the way that you're seeking really great candidates. So let's shift gears a little bit. Jenny, I know that you have started building your brand from day one, right? And building, you started a great hashtag, and I remember seeing that hashtag even before we met in person, and you are very consistent in social media. I think you have over 52 reviews on Yelp, as well as a lot of reviews on Zillow. And if you don't mind, share with us a little bit about how you're growing your brand identity, right? Obviously, you work very closely with Wilson and the OWN team, but you've established a great identity yourself. And as you grow your business across the Bay Area, you want to continue to do that. So if you want to share with me kind of your thoughts around building your brand, I would love to hear from you on that topic.
Definitely. And my hashtag is unlock your potential with LOK as my last name. And I started writing unlocked as well too, just shortening it after delivered keys to my clients, because they realize all the great potential that they can have. And I think first off, the brand was more so unlocking my own potential of realizing what I can accomplish and living and breathing as an example, and being able to buy a house at 23, buy a dream house with an ADU for my parents to eventually move in at the age of 27. And in that interim, buying 20 other investment properties. And that is something that I wanted to unlock my own potential for my future and teach other people to be able to do the same. And a lot of the brand is educating people. We're hosting a webinar tonight and doing a lot of other exciting things that is all about education based and not about sales. Like, are you looking to buy or sell? And like, it's more so, hey, educating people across the different platforms. And it takes time to build that. I think initially it was a lot of door knocking, a lot of hosting open houses and reaching out to people I didn't know, but now it's all referral and people who have met me from college or have followed me, and I've had people just DM me and I had no idea who they are. And they're like, I don't like my realtor, but I want to work with you. Are you taking on new clients? And I've had that at least like every other day, someone reaching out to me to ask that. So it's really important to create a great, strong presence out there.
I love it, because you never know who's watching, right? You never know who's following you on social. And I think, I love that you lead with value, you lead with education. And I think now more than ever, the consumers are really looking for that in their realtors. So thank you for that. Nneka, you also, I think I checked your Zillow, have over 72 reviews. And, I've seen your name on the cover of Silicon Valley Producer magazine. It's just been hard to avoid your brand. So tell us about how you build your brand and make sure that your brand identity continues to shine, under real estate experts.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I actually kind of shy away from a lot of media personally. So it has been a little hard for me. I see the value in it for my professional brand. especially because one thing that my husband and I were so passionate about remodeling and about, like Jenny mentioned, we built an in-law suite in our backyard. We just bought the house next door. We have properties in several different locations. And I think, especially with coronavirus, but even before that, people really, really are stretching further. Whether they work in Santa Clara, they're okay with living in Sacramento. I'm doing this so often where because I'm growing my team, I'm able to help them in other locations because of my background in corporate relocation. And so I think what's been important for us with building the brand is showcasing that. So for instance, with our next door remodel, we're showing before and after pictures on our social media. One, it's fun for me. It's part of, our personal journey, but it's also professionally. I think it's important to realize that there's so many people that see you on social media that you may not know, or that are friends with someone that you've helped. And when they can tap into what you've been doing for your profession and personally, they sometimes will tap into reaching out to you and asking for your support, because more often than not, they want someone that's a grinder like Jenny and I, and that get this real estate game and that are in this to win it, but they also want somebody that they're comfortable with. And when they can see you on social media and tap into your life a little bit and see how you're, with your family, or see the investments that you're doing personally, like Jenny's 20 properties across the country, I think it gives them a level of comfortability that they feel comfortable trusting you with their finances and their future investment. So it's been fun.
I love it. And it sounds like, just as a summary of that, both of you are living and breathing it daily, right? This is literally the life that you love, that you're passionate about, and you're helping others achieve the same. So thank you. So I have a question about your general structure of your team. I know that the audience is probably very curious. How are you structuring your team at a high level, and kind of your thought process around it? So Nneka, why don't you start?
Yeah, so this one has been important for me, and a challenge, even though one of the things I mentioned before is managing to their talents, right? Setting expectations properly. So on a macro level, we have three buyers agents, and we're really trying to get them to tap into their sphere of influence while also feeding them with some leads and making sure that we give them opportunity. One thing that I did when I partnered with Brett is I was a sponge to him. Anything that he had going on, I was there. I really didn't care about the paycheck. I wanted to learn from the ground up and just learn everything that made him as amazing as he is now. I think that's important for real estate agents to treat it as a craft. So for me, when I'm structuring for the buyer's agents, it's on a macro level, they're reaching out to their own SOI. They're also reaching out to a lot of my clientele in my pipeline. Two of my three buyers agents tap into my pipeline, and it gives them a way to get the ball rolling with people that are already somewhat committed to me and help me, help them achieve their goals and see how we get more transactions to the finish line in a shorter amount of time. Because that's the biggest hurdle, right? Is when you work by yourself, you can't get to the finish line with as many people as you want. So it's been important for me to structure it to where they can achieve their goals and reach out to their people. And I'm on all of those meetings to help them bring credibility to their clientele, because maybe they haven't done as much business as I have. And that's the same support that Brett has gave to me in the past. And I think it's very beneficial. So that's kind of how I'm structuring it with my buyer's agents. And of course they get paid per the closings, and 2 out of 3 of them, they help me on my pipeline stuff. So with showings and all of that, that's taken care of. And we're actually looking to hire an ISA soon. So I'll be reaching out to Jenny for some advice there, because I know she's experienced with that.
Great. Thank you, Nneka. What about you, Jenny? How are you structuring your team today?
Yeah, so we still rely on a lot of the support from the overall bigger team. We have our marketing manager, our listing coordinator, our transaction coordinator. We have VAs in the Philippines that are supporting us. And then within my general team, I have a dedicated ISA in the Philippines that's just calling, paying $4.50 an hour, paying her on that to call and reach out to people, seeing how they're doing, and if they have any needs, and inviting them to our webinars as well too. So that's been helpful, and we've been able to get a lot of business that I was in the pipeline or the database that I didn't know that they were looking. So it was a very minimal cost in that perspective. And I have 2 showing assistant buyer agents that I partner with, and depending on the personalities where I think they might be a better fit, and I would bring them on to shadow and do some showings to get some of my time back too, because being in the car it could be very exhausting if you're driving all day. So I'm excited to be at home and sitting down, and they're out there showing properties and closing deals. At one of my buyer's agents, they were able to beat out 35 other offers on a property, and they were not the highest offers. So I think it's really important to educate them on the skill sets and the negotiation strategies. And it's wonderful to see that they're able to learn, and I'm able to be a part of that, but I didn't have to deal with all the showings as much. And then now bringing on a full-time assistant who is going to be handling more of a client care manager role. And they're going to be looking at all my past database clients and all my sphere and seeing when their birthdays are, when their anniversaries are, if they're adopting a dog, if they're having a new baby, so that they know all of their specific life events, so that we can continue our referral business.
Great. I love it. And, I think one of the last questions I wanted to just ask, I know our session's just going by so fast. What about, learnings, because obviously, right, this is, as team leaders, there's definitely learnings. And I think, if you can share maybe, a learning that you've had, or maybe to help the audience prevent, certain pitfalls, if you can just share. Do you want to go first, Jenny?
Yeah. One of the biggest learnings I've had from my coach is leave it better than you found it. And whether it's any conversation, even if it's something where you know that they have bad credit or not able to buy a home, still have that conversation with them, because you don't know who they're going to refer you to. And if you're having tough times, I always shift my story. Like, what's the gift in this? Like, if I'm having a dispute with a teammate or something, it's always, okay, what is the lesson I have to learn from this? What this was meant to happen, and what's the gift in this? And always shedding it in a more positive light.
I love it. Leave it better. Say that one more time. Leave it better than you
found it.
Found it. Exactly. I love it. Nneka, what about you?
My biggest lesson learned, and I think I'm still learning it, is don't be afraid to grow. I think one of my biggest misconceptions about growing my team was that I would lose the personal touch that my clients love me for and refer me for. And the truth is that that's actually false. That's not true, because I'm actually able to help more families in a shorter amount of time by leveraging myself, by leveraging my resources, by keeping like, as Jenny mentioned, we're good we come in for the negotiation. We don't have to be at every single showing with you to do what we're do best, because a lot of it is a learning process. And a lot of times I've been kind of holding on to every piece of the process instead of leveraging my team as much as I can. So that I can help more families. And I think that's good, because it still doesn't compromise the experience for my client. I'm very, very passionate about making sure the experience is amazing for each client, because that's the brand I'm leaving behind. I'm passionate about it on a personal level. I know that my clients are passionate about it. They just want someone that they feel comfortable with. So not being afraid to grow and to expand your brand so that you can reach more families has been a lesson that I continue to learn.
I love that. And that's the best place, I think, for all of us to really to take from this session is don't be afraid to grow, right? You can't have control of everything, but you have to grow, and you have to be able to delegate and leverage. And that's how you're going to be able to grow your business and help more families. So ladies, thank you so much, Nneka and Jenny, for taking your valuable time to share your story and your journey with us today. I'm sure that the audience have questions for you. Your contact information will be on the screen. They can reach out to you directly. Thank you again for spending time with us. I really appreciate you.
Alice, I just wanted to say really quick, I know Jenny is as well. I am hiring, so anyone that's looking to join a team, we do cover pretty much most of the Bay Area. So I know Jenny is too. So I would love to see who wants to join our teams.
I love it. These are two of the best leaders I know in this industry. So hey, if you're interested, reach out to Nneka and Jenny. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.